Blog Talk Radio.
It's tragic.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Sunny B. Welcome to tonight's show. Guys, y'all want to say hi?
What's going on, good people? It's your boy Clint, aka Smooth. What it do?
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to the show.
Yes, we got a great show lined up for y'all tonight. Y'all been checking our posts. You already know what it's about, but anyway, it's September 19th, 2019. 9/19/19. Wow.
Yeah, ain't that something?
That's all right.
Yeah.
I just can't believe how fast this year going by. That's what's tripping me out.
This is one of the rare occasions where I think for the past 7 days, the date was the same way forwards and backwards.
Oh, right, the palindrome.
Yep, the palindrome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was all week from the 10th all the way down.
Mm-hmm. What'd you say, Sonny?
I said at work we're putting in paychecks. Well, not paychecks, but what's the name for the 19 pay period? Or we're getting paid for the 19 pay period.
Oh, okay.
So, that's dope. I don't know. Shit.
You know, the little things that excite you when you're grown.
I know, right?
Exactly. All right, well, again, September 19th, 19.
Oh, my bad. No, I was going to say one of the moments that never happened again, though.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You feel me? One of the things that never happened again. At least we feel he's a part of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Not in our lifetime, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know, right? I was so psyched. I was so psyched up when it was 11/11/11.
Oh, right. Man, math nerds going crazy out there. Like, yes. I was one of them.
Me too. You already know. Me too. All
right, go ahead, Sonny.
Now, if you're listening right now, you're on blogtalkradio.com/GFT radio show. If you're catching the playback, you're either on YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, one of them. And go cop some merch. teespring.com/GFT radio. No, /stores/GFT radio. My bad. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm ready to say it. So, guys, we got a great topic. Did I bring this one up, or it was a joint one?
Well, you brought it up. You feel me? I think we all work together on the thing.
Yeah. That's because I feel like the meme we use.
Oh, right, exactly.
Like, yeah.
The meme, yeah, you know, toss everything up like I'm out of here. Exactly. As y'all know, I just recently left a job, and man, that's how I felt. Like, fuck this job, I'm out. Threw everything up in the air, and then they proceeded to tell me to pick that shit up for the next 2 weeks and finish it out.
Well, see, I walk in the work and like, fuck this shit, but I come back the next day, the same mentality.
Yeah, when you realize they still paying your bills, that's when they just, you know, the job hit different when they still paying the bills.
I swear to God, every day I went to work, I quit in my mind, and sometimes I get so bad to the point where my mind don't show up. Like, I'm physically there, somebody's talking to me, and in my mind, it's Charlie Brown teacher talking to me. I'm like, what?
I feel you.
I don't know what you're saying. It's not getting my brain.
I remember when I used to work at UPS. Every day for 5 years when I worked there, I went in there. I told her, yo, this is my last day, man. I'm talking about like from the first day. For the first day, I started like, nah, this ain't it right here. This ain't it. And then one day, because you know at the time I had like two and a half jobs. One was like super part time, but I had got a promotion at a second job. So I'll never forget. I'm in there walking in there. I said, "Yo, today is the day." Wow. You feel me? After 5 years, I walked in here and said every day was my last day. The day it was the day, and it was just so surreal. And I was just walking around, shaking everybody's hand. They was like, "What's wrong with you?" "Nice working with you, brother." Nice working with you. The day is the day. They all start laughing. They was like, "Clint, you ain't leaving. Clint, you ain't leaving." And I walked right to that clock out machine. I am out of here, y'all. You know what I mean? Good.
Right.
Good. I mean, farewell. Farewell. Fuck this job. Fuck this job. I'm out of here. Yeah, shit.
Exactly.
I'm out of here. Don't forget that.
But did y'all ever just have a job and like just really like in the middle of working just like fuck this shit and then left?
No. I mean, me myself, I always like to take the mature route, especially because in this day and age, you never know who's controlling your destiny. You never know who knows who. And I think a lot of people make that mistake of doing that, being hasty and feeling like they gotta make a point. They gotta, show them, give them the finger or whatever they're feeling at the moment. But people are so interconnected nowadays between social media. The fact you just don't know how people know each other. You know what I mean? I mean, you'd be surprised when you look at your mutual friends. Take a look at your mutual friends sometime on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and see how people are interconnected. You're gonna be seeing people that you don't even realize know each other. You know what I mean? And you make the wrong mistake of saying fuck you to one of your bosses and find out your boss and your new boss know each other, and now you out of 2 jobs.
Oh, I did.
you like fuck that shit. I didn't care.
No, I did walk off from the job.
Wow.
But it was justified. So I wasn't working there. It was like a unpaid internship, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working there through this program to help me get job experience. And I won't say where I was working, but the boss was trying to get me to do more than what I was supposed to do, but wouldn't hire me. And this was during holiday time where everybody started calling out, not being there. So now you got me coming when I'm not supposed to come. You got me doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. And it's an insurance issue, so if something happened, I'm not insured to be there. But I was there.
Right.
And so one day she asked me to do something, and I said, I can't do that because I have X, Y, Z to do, and I'm not supposed to do that anyway. So she took it upon herself to try to, well, no, she did, not even try. She addressed me at one point when I was walking into the building. She waited till I was in a classroom full of kids to come in there and basically chew me out. So I walked her out the classroom and then walked her out of the building, told her where she can go and how she can get there, walked back in, clocked out, and left. Oh, and when I walked out, I told her fuck off and kept about my business.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't appreciate you yelling at me in front of everybody like that. It was uncalled for.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted me to work those hours and do extra stuff, you were supposed to hire me. And you didn't want to do that. You wanted free work. So that's a personal issue. So.
Yeah.
And I never regretted that one.
I'm like, Sonny, I did it before. I always had something else lined up, or I was already had another. Like I always like working 2 or 3 jobs. Like that's everybody that know me, that's how I like to have it. So, it was never. I never had that affinity. You feel me? But like Willie said, there was a lot of immaturity in it too. In a couple of instances, even though I may have been justified just the way I went about it. You feel me? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you may be right, you can still handle something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? So I had that experience. But like I said, like at UPS, like that right there, you feel me? Like, you know what I mean? I don't regret it, but I probably could have did it differently. I probably could have waited to the end of the shit. But no, I was fed up. I was fed up. I was done. You feel me? I was done. You feel me? It's like when you put in a lot of work and you don't feel it's appreciated, then like you really don't see. You keep getting raises, getting more hours, stuff like that, but it ain't no growth. You know what I mean? It's like, I still want to be here. How much, like, you know what I mean? I got all I got from it. All I was going to get from it. I really wasn't going to get nothing more from it, so I'm out. Then I remember one time on another job, it was like a construction job. They messed up my check. Two pay periods in a row. You know what I mean? I'm like,
wow.
Nah, y'all got me out. Yeah. I'm
That's
like, nah.
right there.
Yeah. I'm like, nah, like, I mean, y'all got me out here working. I mean, it was that summer. That was one of the hottest summers ever. I'm telling you, they had me out there working in that sun. Some days I was out there dolo. And then when my check come, it ain't right, nowhere near right. 2 pay periods in a row, like, nah. Nah. Like, nah. You feel me? I cussed them thoroughly out. So well that they even cut they cut me a check, an extra check, because they know they was wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? They knew they was wrong. So
yeah.
Like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, I was done. I'm just saying it was other instances where I know I could have handled it better, but I always felt justified.
I was in a position one time where I was working for this lady, and she was like kind of what's the word? She was entrepreneur. She owned the company, and basically I worked for her, did everything she wanted me to do. But when I first came in, I got trained by the person who previously held the position, and she went through, like, I want to say like a week and a half, 2 weeks of training with me, and felt like I was doing a good job at doing the things that she was doing the way she was doing it, right? But then it turned out, I guess the lady didn't know, the owner didn't know that the girl had been doing some shortcuts and doing things a little differently than the owner realized, and she was like blaming me, for how the processes were being done. And at first I was like, I understand you thinking that I'm cutting corners or I'm doing things differently. And I explained to her, that the young lady had showed me how to do the things the way I was doing them. And at first she didn't believe me, and then once she did finally believe me, it was like she didn't even apologize or nothing like that. So at first I was a little salty about that. But then, as time went on, it was little things here and there that I guess I would do or say, and she felt like I was trying to change the way she did her business. And so we just never really got along. We always butted heads on things. And the long story short is that, she got mad at me one day, went off, like literally just like had a temper tantrum like a little kid. And, I just told her, I was like, you know what? I don't have to take this. I'm grown. You grown. You can find you somebody else that can do this job, because, it's like apparently we don't have this together. I was like, you can either let me do things, or, we can work out how we can do things better, or, I can just go ahead and find some other employment. And she literally just told me that I was fired right there on the spot. You know what I mean? And I felt like, I felt like it was childish of her, you know what I mean? And I felt like, the bigger person would have, tried to at least reconcile or rectify that situation by, doing something more, to to kind of cooperate with each other, try to work together. You know what I mean? But she wasn't interested in that. She wanted to just, clean house and be like, do things her way. She was, unwilling to, to see anything from anybody else's point of view. So, long story short, again, she told me I was fired on the spot. So, of course I, left. I was just mad because she never paid me my last check. You know what I mean? I wanted to take her to court, but I was like, court fees would have ate up half the check anyway because I wasn't really making that much. I was like, she wasn't really even paying me that much because looking at it like, okay, she a black business owner. I'm trying to do what I can to help her, improve her business, and it was just a mess. So I learned then that you really gotta learn who your boss is or who your manager is, and either ensure that y'all on the same page, or make sure that you can either have somebody that can mediate between the two of y'all. Other than that, it's just gonna be problems.
Yeah, I want to give out the number real quick.
Okay, go.
It's 657-383-1155 for those that want to call in and share in your opinions or your thoughts or experiences on this topic. We're talking about stressful job situations and how to deal with issues at the job. We all go through stuff where we either like our job, end up hating it for different reasons, or hate our job but we go every day because it pays our bills, or we're just dealing with a stressful situation at the workplace. So that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. What about it over? How many of y'all have worked with somebody that always found an issue with everything?
Shoot.
I have somebody like that at my job.
But I think that's every job. It's always that one person. It's always that one.
It's now I've had people that have problems with stuff, but this is like nitpicking at like the thousandth power. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, we just had a meeting today. That was interesting because we got new people in. They were trying to learn the ropes. And they were asking why we were doing stuff the way we were doing it. And I couldn't wait to the meeting because I wanted them to see the full picture of what we deal with. And they got to see it. So I was just sitting there like, yes. But yeah, that's micromanaging and nitpicking is a detriment to
not even
because
sometimes it ain't even a manager, or it's like somebody micromanager. It could just be like that one regular employee. It's like every day they come in and they just find an issue with something with either another coworker is doing, a manager is doing. You feel me? And if you're dealing with patrons or something, they have issues with the patrons. It's like all the time.
Yeah,
you know
I had a coworker that they complained about the management. They complained about their job, in terms of what their responsibilities were, even though, coming in, they knew that, this was one of those kind of jobs where it was like, you're going to be doing X, Y, Z, but there's going to be more added to your plate later. I think that was one of those things where people just don't understand that, when you have a lot of flexibility and not just in your schedule, but in the role itself, that they're gonna add things to your plate. They're gonna be like, hey, if you got time for this, you can do this at the same time, or they're gonna make you multitask. But like she had a complaint about like everything, and it was crazy to me because I think that she didn't take some of her complaints to either her manager or to her, or to upper management to say, hey, we have these different issues, especially if she felt like it was affecting, either the department, the, bottom line, that kind of thing. Because, managers will listen when you tell them that money's about to be lost or that time is about to be lost. And I felt like she just wasn't doing her due diligence to make sure that people understood that there was either a problem, that there really was a problem, but then I think she also kind of knew that, nobody wanted to hear her whine and cry about every little thing, because there was some stuff that was just trivial, you know what I mean? And it felt like a lot of it was just her whining about it, It's like I understood some of the process stuff that she had an issue with and some of the multitasking stuff, but it's like when you start talking about, how certain customers are, how certain coworkers are, it's like, bro, that's people. You just got to deal with people or learn how to ignore it, you know what I mean? So it was like always a problem.
Yeah, we have a couple. I mean, we have employees, that get upset about every little thing. You hear them complain. I know our biggest complaint. Like I know I complain every day. I say I hate people, because the experiences I've had so far. I like working with people, but working where I work now, it's like, oh my God, people. I've come to realize that people don't like to take accountability, and they want you to do everything for them because all of a sudden they can't do anything for themselves. So that's most of the complaints. They want you to do everything for them, and that's problematic because I can't do your job and mine.
Right. Exactly. Because
if I'm helping you, then my job's not getting done. I think one of the biggest stressors in workplace is the leadership. You have to have leaders that know what they're doing, know their job, know what you should be doing, and know how to help you when you need help. People always interview well. They got that gift of gab, but when it comes to actually doing the work and you can't do it and you're in that leadership position, that's a problem.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't help me.
Leadership to dictate the whole workplace. If you got poor leadership,
but if you don't know how to do your job,
right?
You feel me?
How can you tell me how to do mine?
Exactly. It's poor leadership. If you got poor leadership, you know what I mean, you're gonna have a poor workplace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a highly unhealthy environment. You know what I mean? From my experience, you feel me? I remember it could be even with somebody knowing what they're doing. You feel me? Like you said, overbearing, or they just want it done one way. I was at a job to where we dealt with the people. You know what I mean? The person, the manager, she didn't. She didn't deal with the people. We did. So we had a better understanding of the people than she had. So she wanted things done a certain way because she thought it would be easier and much more simpler. But, it was like, well, the people don't like it that way. You know what I mean? You get more complaints, which makes it more difficult for us, and it's going to make poor business. You know what I mean? But she didn't want to hear that. So what happened? The environment became chaotic. You know what I mean? Because we're trying to appease the people, but we can't. Because when we do, we get in trouble with you. You know what I mean? But when we do what you want to do, it don't work out with the people. Now we beefing with the people. So it just became a whole chaotic situation because it was poor leadership. She didn't want to come out of her ways. You know what I mean? So there was another dude, he was too. Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say, I think with it, where the shortcoming comes in that is, people don't know how to be a leader, or they don't know the proper way to manage, right? Management training is essential. I mean, a lot of people miss that point. They think just because you know how to tell people what to do, that makes you a good manager, and it doesn't. When you don't know how to cooperate and work with your employees, you're not going to be a good leader. You're not going to be a good manager, and you're not going to be able to, like you said, recognize situations that are challenging for your employees when they're trying to do their day-to-day processes. I think a lot of times some managers don't realize, like you said, that they have to kind of get in the field or look at it from your point of view and understand what you're facing when you're dealing with customers, or what you're facing when you're dealing with other coworkers. One of my one of my leaders in the past, one thing I liked about her was, and even though this was crazy to me, she wasn't even my direct manager. She was my one over, so she was my manager's manager. But she wanted to understand every nuance of the processes that we were doing, who we were dealing with, why we were doing certain things, and not just from the standpoint of, are you doing it because it's part of the process, but are you doing it if it's beneficial to the customer? And she really got to know all of the players in the game in terms of the other departments we were working with, other teams we were working with. And, she was like one of them kind of people where you could just go to her and be like, look, I'm having trouble, getting this, approved, or I'm having trouble getting this taken care of. And she either had an answer or she knew somebody you could go talk to. And that was like the most, effective leader I ever worked with, because she really understood, where we were having problems at. She didn't know how to do our specific jobs, of course, because we were, in IT and being technical, but she knew how to manage the issues that we faced, and she knew how to manage the processes that we were doing in terms of, how to keep us from doing things kind of like backwards, double work, stuff like that. And I think, a lot of times people miss the point of, if you're gonna be a manager, you need to manage, not just point fingers and tell people what to do.
Facts. Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And it's not even that you. One thing I did in working where I work at, I think that people forget. Like, it's one thing to change things. Because people get upset when you change things. People say, people hate change, people hate change. I don't think people hate change. I think it's how you do the change. So if you're going to change something, it should be something that's simplified, something that makes it better versus giving it several more steps. Like, if you're going to change something, make it very simple and easy, not complicated and hard. And that's the experience I've been having, is the change has not lessened the workload, it's given us more.
Right.
And then the unrealistic deadlines, the constant randomness of a day. Like, you can't really get stuff done if you're constantly being pulled in 7 different directions. And then once we have a sit down, it's like, why didn't you get this done? How? I'm all about being busy from the time I get to work to the time I leave, but I need to feel like I had a productive day. If every day I'm leaving and I feel like I'm swamped and I can't catch up, it's a problem. Because the change is supposed to lessen, not only lessen the load, but make it easier, not make it harder. And you feel like it becomes stressful because you feel like you are in a downward spiral which you can't get out of. Because no matter how much you keep trying, it's not working. And no matter what's happening, they know what's happening, but they still want you to produce some stuff. How?
I guess the question is who's making these decisions on these process changes, and who's vetting these process changes? Are they just making these changes haphazardly without consulting either the employees or seeing how it affects customer satisfaction? Because one thing that I've found a lot of times is that putting the process in front of the employees first and saying, hey, what do you guys think about this process change? What do y'all think about doing things this way? It makes a big difference. Like you said, if it's supposed to be simplifying things, it should simplify things, not make it more challenging or adding steps that are unnecessary. One thing, I was at a meeting the other day, and they were talking about how one of their approval processes was done and how complicated it was. And they were like, yeah, there's multiple ways of getting, these approvals done. And when they ended up doing a count of how many different systems and processes there were, it was like 25,000. So when they ended up, reducing everything and finding ways to kind of break down the complexity of it and make it where everybody was kind of doing the same thing. It turned they turned 25,000 different ways of doing it down to like 16, which is crazy. Because 25,000 is already unwieldy. It is already ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But for them to be able to reduce it from 25,000 down to 16, that's huge. You know what I mean? It's saving everybody time. It's simplifying things because everybody's not confused. Right? Everybody's not confused on how do I do this versus how you do that. You know what I mean? And it's like it makes it easier for everybody to either help each other out, and so that speeds things up because you're not over there looking for help how to do stuff. So I think, a lot of times putting something in front of the employees to say, hey, you know what, this seems to be taking us a long time, or this seems to not be making the customers happy. If we do it this way, will this work? Will this, make things easier to keep the customers happy, or will it make things worse? You know what I mean? So I think that's the number one mistake a lot of companies make.
Yes. So in my unit, we had to. Here's how our change happened. We had 4 letters, right? I'm just going to give an example. We had 4 letters. New people came in. I don't like these. I'm going to change them. 4 went to 19, to where we originally could approve it. Now it goes to 2 different people to approve it before it goes out. After you figure out which out of the 19 letters you got to pick to use. Then what happens is this person that you're giving it to is in meetings all day or doing stuff all day, so they're not even getting to what you're giving them. A week has now passed. You got people emailing us asking us what's the status of this, what's the status of this. Our response to upper management has it. Then they contact upper management like, what's going on? Upper management comes to you and says, where is it at? It's been on your desk for a week. Like, it's unproductive.
Right.
And then the first thing is, well, what are you doing? I'm waiting on you. That's what I'm doing.
And that's sad. They don't even know what they got on their desk, or they don't even know that they're the ones holding up. That's the other thing is like you gotta realize when you're the bottleneck. That was one thing. My last job, even though my last job was highly unorganized, they did understand where bottlenecks were occurring, and they did their best to try to reduce those. And they'd be like, you know what, if management is in the way, let's get out the way, that kind of thing. And it made a world of difference a lot of times when it came to getting certain things done, getting, like you said, getting things approved. Instead of having to go to like 2 different people, you go to one person who could just make the decision and get it over with. It's just simple stuff.
Yeah, but the meeting just had to say, hopefully that'll change and lessen the stress if everything is approved so we can move forward, because right now it's unproductive and stressful. And I think that, and like what you said holds value. When you're changing the way things are done, the people that have to do the changes, you need to have a conversation with them and receive what they're saying to you. Because you have a conversation and sit everybody down and say, okay, we're going to plan to change X, Y, Z. What do you guys think about it? How can we approve it to make it easier for you guys so we can move forward with this process so it won't be an issue? But if you have management that has a conflict of everything, when you give that opinion, now it's a problem.
I've been in a situation where the opposite, not necessarily the opposite, to where the change, like upper management, like this, it was this dude, manager at the depot. His name was Paul Ledford. He was the best manager I ever had. He was the manager. I was the supervisor. It was 2 supervisors, me and Stephanie. We had 4 employees under us, and then we ran the depot, and then the depot was a bunch of subcontractors. he had that thing running smooth. He had a military background, so like how he had it smooth to where it was like a chain of command. So nobody could none of the subcontractors could talk directly to him. They had to go to one of our employees first. If one of the employees couldn't do it, the employees come to the supervisor. Then the supervisors, we go to him, right? And it made the depot run smooth. Everything was running good.
Right.
But upper management above him, you know what I mean? And this is when I realized like that like the little corporate shit is real. You know what I mean? If you don't go along to get along, even if what you're doing is working, you feel me, they'll get you out of there. And in that situation where everything, you had a good manager, he had everything running smoothly, but the fact that he wasn't doing it the way how upper management wanted it to be done, it was unorthodox or what have you, they shut it down. They got him out of there. They brought somebody else in. She tried to run it like how they wanted to run it, and it fell apart. They had to end up shutting it down. You know what I mean? So sometimes it going back to what you was talking about, Willie, because that's why I brought that up, because you was talking about vetting. You know what I mean? Vetting who you put in those positions.
Right.
You know what I mean? How important managerial training is. You feel me? I don't necessarily think that lady had any type of training before or was ever in the position of authority that took over that position. That, you know what I mean? Whoever was above her, I don't think them people was vetted properly. I don't think they knew what they was doing.
Right.
Because if you have something working so fine, why mess it up? You know what I mean? So, like, it goes back to what you were saying, to where, you know, it has to be a process to where everybody's properly vetted, because a lot of people be having these positions and they're not really ready for them. You feel me? They got a title, but they can't live up to it. And that's why you be having all them issues. And, yeah, that's why a lot of these workplaces always have these same issues. You know what I mean? Because people be getting these positions and they really not ready for them. They don't have the temperament for them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think a lot of times they're trying to make these changes just for the sake of making a change. You know what I mean? Like you said, it might come from upper management, right? And I ran into this problem at a company I was at a few years ago, where they had kind of a what they call a change mentality, or a change what do you call it? A change. I can't think of the word. It's basically like their environment was all about change, right? So, whenever you had new executives come into power, anytime you had new middle management come into power, they basically, you know, had to make their, you know, put their stamp on the position by making some kind of big change. And a lot of times the changes were just for the sake of change, just for the sake of being able to say, hey, I did something. Hey, I put my you know, I put my signature on a dotted line on something. And a lot of times you would see some of that stuff go through without anybody, like you said, vetting it, or anybody approving, you know, not approving it, but you know what I mean, saying that it's going to work, or that it's worth doing. You know, I mean, we finally got some upper management that decided that we were going to stop doing, you know, change for the sake of change. But, you know, it took years and years, I mean, decades really, for that to be put into place. But in terms of, you know, how things were being run, it was crazy, because a lot of times things would be going, like you said, just fine. Everybody's getting along just well. You know, departments are being successful, people are working, people are happy, and then next thing you know, somebody comes in and they're like, oh, you know what, I want to change this over here and move it over there. And it's like, why? You know, and there would be no answer why, and there would be no you know, recourse to get it back, you know, and it would just the changes just go into effect regardless of anybody's complaints. And that was crazy because a lot of times it was counterproductive. It held things up. It made things more challenging. Definitely pissed a lot of people off. And I think, when it comes to keeping your employees around, that makes a difference. If you have a consistent track record of just making these random changes or doing things that aren't making life easier for the employees, you're not going to retain that talent. You're not going to have these people want to stay on and be in that company, and they're just going to go somewhere else. I mean, it's not jobs aren't a dime a dozen, but still jobs are a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? You can you can go somewhere else. Somebody else wants you. And that's the thing, especially if you're talented. I mean, that happened for me where I was at this company for a year and a half, and I was just like, you know what, I need to find something or somewhere where I can be successful, but I can also be stress free. And I knew I was worth my weight, so I'm like, I'm about to go ahead and move on, and somebody will pick me up, I'm sure. And sure enough, but they kept putting processes in place and putting things in place where it just wasn't, it wasn't making things easier, and they definitely weren't thinking about the stress we were under. They were thinking about their bottom line. And it's like sometimes you gotta say, you know what, forget the bottom line for today. Let's get these employees happy so that way they can stay on and we can be successful with them and be able to then gain more money in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy because in the span of, I want to say, a couple months, people have left my job. Like HR specifically. You have people that have been in HR. I came in HR in 2007. In the last year, everybody that was never going to leave, left. They had been there 12, 13, 20 years, HR. Abruptly left, whether they retired early, took a demotion and left, or jumped at the first job they had available outside of our office. And the outtake of that is, for HR has never had that many vacancies since 2007 or before that. For that to happen the way it happened in under 4 months, somebody should be trying to figure out what's going on to make everybody leave the way they leave it. Especially taking a demotion.
Right, exactly. That's true.
Like I'm talking about retire without having a retirement party. Because they don't want to invite people. They don't want to invite everybody because it's going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm. See, that also comes with a level of maturity too. You know what I mean? Like, at some point in the workplace, everybody gotta realize, and I guess it's just human nature, because everybody had these same issues that, like, you know what I mean? Everybody sometimes just gotta be like, yo, we just here to work. We here to work. You feel me? All the bickering and all that. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's unnecessary. Like, somebody shouldn't have to feel when they retire, damn, man, I can't invite nobody. I don't want to invite this person. You feel me? Like, that's crazy.
Well, no, it was a situation where it was, so I'm going to just put it out there. It was a situation in our area that happened, and it was supposed to be fixed, and it wasn't. So somebody was on their way out, and somebody decided to do a little small thing after work for them. Somebody was at the water cooler, opened their mouth, and it was a big thing about it. And it's like, you should be able to do whatever you want to do without having to invite everybody. It was not during work hours. It was after, it was later.
I'm just saying it's in general. in general.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like those situations happen with a lot of people like that. You know what I mean? Like you describing at different jobs. It's like that. Like why that same story happen with everybody? You know what I mean? Like at all these type jobs. It's like that's you know what I mean? Like why we act like that at jobs. You know, never think about that. Like I could name somebody else and they had that same same type of story.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of it is just the fact that, I mean, jobs, just having a job and just being an adult is not. It doesn't create maturity. You know what I mean? It doesn't create sensibilities about doing things the right way sometimes. And I think people, they take their emotions and they take their um, um, just their vengefulness and just still apply it to work, to the workplace. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times people don't realize what they're doing, is just. I mean, it's not appropriate for one. Like you said, it's childish. It's inappropriate. Or the situations that come up, it's like, why can't we all just be adults and just get along? And why can't we, realize that we all have to work in the same place. A lot of people don't even realize how much time they spend at work in relation to how much time you're at home. Like you
Mm-hmm.
are generally working and being around the same people more than you are with your actual family. You know what I mean? The people that you even go home to at night, you're probably at work with your coworkers way longer than you're with the people that are at your house. So you know it creates a dynamic, actually almost like a family dynamic, so you still have those sibling rivalries, you still have those parent-child relationships that are go on, and in the most unusual ways, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of times people don't realize they still have to keep in mind that you're still at work. Keep in mind that you're getting paid to do a job, and that sometimes your personal issues shouldn't be put on the table at the workplace, or that your
And
inability to get along with people shouldn't be fully on display for everybody to see while you're at the job.
we'll see. Here's what I'm not gonna completely disagree, but I'm not gonna throw it all on maturity. And I'm right behind that. I'm gonna say this. Recently, y'all know I bought my house. A couple of my coworkers were invited to my housewarming, and they were having a conversation about it at work one day. And somebody that I didn't invite asked me why I was not invited. And I said to them, I don't really talk to you, so why would I invite you to I don't. Not that it was me being immature, but we don't have conversations. I don't talk to you about personal life. It's a high and by situation. And everybody knows me at work and how I am. I could be friends with you at work and not be friends with you outside of work. I gotta deal with you because we work together. I don't have to invite you to my house. I'm not gonna feel obligated to. If you didn't get an invite, you just didn't get an invite. It's nothing personal. It's not me being immature. I don't hang out with you. I wouldn't invite you to a birthday party. I wouldn't invite you to my baby shower. None of those things.
No, see,
I see.
I'm not saying that's.
Oh,
I'm not saying that's immature. I'm not. I'm
right.
not even referring to that at all.
Okay.
Right, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's personal. I mean, you
Yeah,
don't
that's
have to be
personal. Yeah.
friends outside of work with people just because you work with them. I'm not saying that.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is work. We're here to work. You feel me? All that other stuff
Right.
is unnecessary. You know what I mean? That all that like Willie said, that's fluff. Like, you feel me? Like, that's not. You feel me? Us going
That's not
out.
what's important. That's not
us,
what's important to the company's bottom line. That's not keeping the stockholders
Exactly.
happy. That's not making the processes go any faster or getting any more efficient if to be hanging out after work. So, being salty about somebody not inviting you to their housewarming, they're like at their house.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. That's your house. You shouldn't have to invite anybody, let alone have to worry about inviting somebody, like you said, that you either don't associate with like that, or who you don't have a relationship with like that. My thing too about work relationships is I have a strict, I don't want to deal with you outside of work anyway, policy, so it takes you got to be a special kind of person for me to even mess with outside of work. So
and that was my point.
That's what I'm saying. But people take it so seriously.
Yeah, and that's
my point. Yeah,
and that's the problem.
Yeah, they should. Exactly.
They need to keep working at work and home at home. I mean, it's not even that either. Sometimes, I mean, my thing is if you have a work relationship and you're good, you get along great at work and everything. I mean, you go to lunch together every day. Y'all kick it about everything that's going on at the office. That does not require you to take that outside the office. It does not. Just because y'all got this great relationship at the office doesn't mean you have to take that home and reproduce it. It's not the same. And people will get mad about that. They'll be like, oh, we work besties and we this and we that. Well, yeah, we are, but at work, not at my crib. You don't have to come to my house for me to like you at the job. So, and vice versa. Exactly. I've actually worked with people who I loved them off the clock. They awesome people off the clock, but they suck at their job. They fucking idiots. Idiots. So I'm like, just because I think you a great person, I'm not about to give you a glowing recommendation for the next job. I'm sorry, you stupid. Like, but I love to party with you. I will party with you because you stay lit. So let's go. Let's go to the club. Let's go out for a drink. But I'm not about to sugarcoat the fact that you're a fucking idiot. So it's one don't preclude the other, and one don't require the other. So I think people get it twisted and they get it messed up, thinking that you got to be, on some type of same level at home and at the job, or vice versa, as well as the people who think that just because you include work people in your personal life that you got to include them too. It's like, no, I don't. We not all built the same. So don't think that just because me and Bob are good friends outside of the office and inside of the office, I don't have to do the same for you just because we in the same department or in the same company. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, females in particular, are on that wave of if we're friends at work, we gotta be friends. And I'm an asshole. I'll tell you, like I say all the time, I don't come to nowhere to make friends. If I make friends, I make friends. Like, at the end of the day, none of these people are paying my bills. None of that. I like you as a person. I can rock with you, but I didn't come here to be a damn friend. I came here to work, make sure I can pay my bills. If I make a friend, that's great. If I don't, I don't care.
Right, exactly. I mean, and that's and you're right. I mean, the first thing you said there is number one. It's like, I'm not coming here trying to make friends. I mean, it happens. You fall into a friendship with people sometimes. I mean, I know I try hard not to be friends with nobody at a job I had a long time ago, where I was just like, you know what, everything's gonna be straight on the straight and narrow. I'm just gonna be in here, laser focused on getting this job done. But I still ended up kicking it with a few people who was real cool. Turned out they was even better outside of work, and it's like, we still friends to this day. But it wasn't like I went in there like, oh, let me figure out what clique I'm gonna hang with and who I'm gonna be at the lunch table with. Like, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way.
I don't even want to talk to you niggas, to be honest with you. Like, let me tell you something.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something. I just want to come in here, get this fetty, and get the fuck out. If I meet somebody that's cool. You know what I mean? But, like, we're not about to force nothing. You feel me? Like, right. Just because we joke and laugh on the job, that's just the you know what I mean? To make the time go by quicker.
Right. Lighten the mood. Let it keep moving. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Make it a cool environment. My best times working, like, was when I had family working at the job. You know why? Because when we was at work, you wouldn't even couldn't tell we was family. Not because we was arguing or nothing. It's because we already knew each other. You feel me? We already knew we was gonna kick it outside of work. You know what I mean? We already knew how we vibe outside of work. So when we at work, it's just about work. You feel me? You may joke here and there and spots, but for the most part, it's about work. So it wasn't about trying to make friends. You feel me? Or trying to, you know what I mean, see why somebody acting this way or trying to be nosy. You feel me? We already know each other's business. You know what I mean? Exactly. You feel me? So, like, you know what I mean? Those are some of the best times when I, like, working with family or close friends when we had jobs together. You feel me? Doing things together. That was the best. You feel me? But it was always just random people always trying to be nosy. You feel me? And then, like you said, they get it confused. They try to overstep their boundaries because we may be fly at work. They think that shit may apply outside of work. Like, nah. You don't know my personal life. You know what I mean? It's very few people that I ever worked with that has came to my personal life. You know what I mean? Very few.
Right, exactly.
Very few. And I've been fly with a lot of people on jobs. To where when we was on jobs, we was fly. You know what I mean? Never had no issues, joke. You know what I mean? Everything. But, you know what I mean? Very, very few that I was like, all right, man, let me bring them cross this line into this. Like, nah.
Right.
Nah.
Yeah. So
there gotta be boundaries.
So what do y'all, before we get into the after show, what do y'all think of, actually, even before then, let me put that number back out there. Make sure y'all give us a call. Tell us about your stories, about your encounters at work, 657-383-1155, 657-383-1155. So what do y'all think about, or not what do you think, but what have you guys ever run into a situation where you definitely contemplated quitting, but then you also felt like you could stick it out? Like what made you stay? What made you feel like you had to try at least to stay?
Room for advancement. And learning.
Mm-hmm.
Learning a different avenue. Like I became a cook. And then they was going. I really ain't like it too much in the beginning because I wasn't good at it. Until they really started training me, and then they were going to send me to culinary art school. That's the only reason, to answer your question, why I stuck it out and didn't quit. You know what I mean? If it's offering you something like that, for free, they was gonna pay for it and everything. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah, I feel you there.
Like you really can't. You know what I mean? You don't want to turn that down. You know what I mean? Without at least trying it to see what's what. So, I mean, yeah, I've been in that position before. And like I said, the only reason I didn't do it was because of room for advancement and learn the trade.
What about you, Sonny?
Well, my current job, contemplated leaving many a times.
Yeah.
Like seriously, it tested I've never had a job that you go through this many emotional roller coasters of debating on whether or not I'm going to quit and just say fuck. Like really, that's why I said when this meme, and I read that meme is so fucking true. It's many times I said fuck this job because it was my sanity or this job, my integrity or this job, like all that. So what made me stay was my kids and having them be stable. Because I can quit and work, like, I mean, I could find another job at some point, but that in-between area was an issue for me to, like, I've been there. Do I want to go back there? No. I wouldn't want to go until I had a job. And then I thought to myself, I'm not going to let this person get that out of me. Get me to leave. I like my job. Mm-hmm. I don't like everybody there, but I like my job. And I'm not going to leave because of you. So I'm still there.
I feel you there. I mean, especially when you love your job. I mean, it's that, and that's the hardest part when you're in a situation where you love the job but you hate the people, you know, or you love the company but you hate the customers, you know, that kind of thing. That creates a whole different dynamic, you know, because it makes it hard to say, you know what, fuck this, and I gotta go, you know, whatever the case may be. It makes you feel like, man, like I gotta stick it out for that, you know, at least. But I definitely been in that situation where you were, Clint, where it was like, you know, I felt like if I stay, I'll gain all this knowledge, I'll get all these skills, and you know, and I was at another job where I think I was getting, well, I won't say I was making a lot of money, but I felt like I was getting paid a good amount of money. You know what I mean? You know how you get a job and they throwing the money at you, and then you go and look at what's available out in the world, and it's like, man, like ain't nobody paying right now, you know. And I felt like, you know, I just had to stay for that, you know. I just felt like the biggest thing was the experience, and I felt like that a lot of people, you know, or a lot of places didn't have that, you know, that opportunity for me. And, you know, I felt like I needed to stay there just for the simple fact that, you know, I could get that experience and then go somewhere else and thrive and succeed and be happy. So, I mean, I definitely have been there. I think it makes it, you know, a struggle, but then I think it makes it worth it in the end if you do get what you intend to get, like, you know, like you said, Clint, you know, getting that skill, you know, or if you're getting that money and you are able to pay off bills and all that kind of stuff and survive without having to be struggling, you know, I think that's huge. I know I hate to be one of those people that are in a dead end job, not getting paid right, not getting treated right, as well as not having the good hours. And it's just, I mean, that would just be horrible. That would be a nightmare.
I agree.
Definitely. One thing I always tell people when you go to a job, you know what I mean, because, you know, it's never going to be perfect. You feel me? It's going to be days, you know what I mean, like the title say, you're going to say, fuck this job. You feel me? You know what I mean? But if it's worth it, you know what I mean, it's going to be like that at every job. I don't care what you do, how much you love it, it's going to be days when you're going to be like, man, fuck this job. You feel me? It's going to be days you're going to feel underappreciated or not appreciated at all. You feel me? You just got to remember what you're doing it for. Just got to remember what you're doing it for. You know what I mean? And I tell my little brothers and sisters, whenever you get a job, you know what I mean, no matter what it is, learn something from it. You feel me? Because whatever you learn from it may be more important than that check you get from it. You know what I mean? Learn the lesson from
no
it.
doubt. No, that's true that.
You feel me? Because whatever bullshit you doing may help you prevent that same bullshit from creeping up in something that's more important later. You know what I mean? You may need that experience now so it can help you better deal with another experience later on that may be more severe. You know what I mean? So just learn something, because it ain't always about a check. You feel me? It's ways to get bread out here. You feel me? That knowledge is key. So before you say fuck this job, you feel me? Learn something from that motherfucker.
Yeah, one thing I can say, I worked in most parts of our HR. So if I go somewhere else, I'm going to HR. And I can at least say that I know something about my job. I've been there long enough. I should know something, right?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You feel me? Or even, and I'm pretty sure you done learned some stuff that don't even got to do with your technically your job is. You probably done learned
Oh,
some other skills. You feel me? You know what I mean?
yeah.
That can help you. That you can even take. Oh, when you go somewhere else, if you ever to go somewhere else, well, you like, oh yeah, I do this, I learned this, but I also learned this while I was doing that. You feel me? Boom. You feel me? That's a plus. You feel me?
Yeah.
I know it was this one girl I used to work with, and you know what I mean, she still work at the same job, and she still has the same position. And I stopped working there 4 years ago. You feel me? That's somebody who didn't learn nothing yet. You feel me? That's somebody who's still just going day to day, doing the
Right.
same thing over and
That's
over
sad.
again. You know what I mean? And they was there multiple years. I worked multiple years with them. Literally a handful of years with them. They was there a handful of years before me. They still doing the same exact thing. And I had advanced over them, got promotions over them, and they still going there the same day, same days, same routine. You feel me? Like you said, Willie, that's sad.
That's unproductive.
You feel me? That's just somebody that's going through the motions. You feel me? That don't see nothing better. That's just, oh, I got a job.
Right.
You
Exactly.
feel,
Exactly.
you
Which,
feel
like you
me?
said, it's just crazy because some people don't realize that they just kind of just like in a dead end, just redoing the same thing over and over again, not even progressing in
Mm-hmm.
life, But I
Yeah.
mean, you can't tell people how to run their life. You know what I mean? You can't create the success for them. They got to go seek it for themselves. So
Mm. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. What what do y'all think about the people who say, if you don't like your job, just quit? Why complain?
I mean, I used to feel like that. I used to be like, you know what? There's a job out there. There's another job out there for you. Just leave and go do your thing. But I mean, I think everybody's situation is different. I mean, when you got a family, you just can't up and just quit a job. Or if you have a
Mm-hmm.
profession that you need to have, some kind of references, and you got to have this and that. You don't want to just do that. So I think every situation is different. I think that you have to keep in mind what your situation is and what you're facing if you decide to do that. I tell young people, especially like my kids and stuff, that's under 30. I tell them all the time, look, you you're young, you got opportunities out here. If you don't feel like a 9 to 5 is working for you, try to start a business. Try to find a hobby that can make you some money. Get a side hustle. Do something that can fulfill you as a person. Not just because it makes you money, but just because it fulfills you. And a lot of times it'll turn into a money making opportunity. So, I think when you're young, I mean, not that you can't do that when you're over 30, but you know what I mean. When you're under 30, you definitely have that opportunity to do that. You can fall back, you can get things back together real quick. But I think that for everybody, even when you are that young, sometimes you gotta look at your situation. I mean, because like my son, he had apartment, car, all this stuff going on, and that wasn't an opportunity for him to just drop a job because he's got bills to pay. You know what I mean? Um, my middle daughter, she can do that. She's got her own business right now. She's got a job as well. So if she decided to just quit her job, she can go do that because she lives at home with her mom. She's got a business that can take care of the bills she does have. And if she decides, what, I want to try something different, she can go do that. You know what I mean? So I think it just depends on the situation. Everybody's got something different going on, and everybody's got to make the right decision for them and their family.
Well, I tell my daughter she can't quit a job until she actually has another one. Like, she working now. Her job wasn't giving her enough hours. She's thinking about finding another job. I told her, look, why she got one.
That's good advice, too.
Yeah, if you don't, as I feel like at our age, if you don't like your job, you shouldn't just quit. You should be lining yourself up for something else. You don't like it, just start making that path to go elsewhere. Apply other places. Do all that. Don't just up and quit, not unless you're a fan of collecting unemployment if your job allows you to do that.
I know some people.
You better off getting fired, but they were fired is frowned upon.
Yeah, I know some people be trying to get fired.
Yeah, because they collect unemployment.
Yeah. My stance on it is similar to Willie's, as far as know your situation. Know your situation. You feel me? Because something that may not work for me may work for you. That risk may work for you. The reward may be higher for you at any particular time. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know where somebody's at in life. You don't know what they got going on. You feel me? It's to me, it's an individual. It's each individual situation. You know what I mean? Like, the safest bet, like Sonny said, that's the safe bet. And you feel me? I wouldn't be mad at nobody for going that route. Don't quit until you find something. Feel me? That's perfect advice as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you feel me? Like, misery is real. A job can make you depressed. A job can make you sick. You know what I mean? Like, going in, if you to that point, for a person
go out
to that
and leave
point,
and find another job.
Huh?
I said, go out on a leave and find your ass another job.
I feel you. So people can't go on a leave. You feel me?
Yeah, some people can't even do that. That's true. Like that was my situation with my last job. I was working 75 hours a week, and they depended on me to the point where every major customer had a direct line to me because they needed me to keep them floating on that, And so when I had to go start looking for me a new job, I mean, it was a long, tedious process because I had to find little bits and pieces of time here and there because, I still had to take care of my kids, still got to take care of a house, still, so it was like, it was tough. And, I felt like I needed the job to gain some skills that I had either lost or didn't have from working at my previous job to that, where, I was kind of siloed in a couple of different technologies. So it was like I appreciated being able to learn a ton of stuff in a short amount of time. I mean, I only worked there for 15 months, and I probably learned like 10 or 20 new things there, 10 or 20 new either software or hardware, and it was a huge push for my experience and for my expertise. But the thing was, they were burning me out. You know what I mean? And not only just burning me out, but they were just leaning on me way too much because they had short staff and low experience, a low ability, technical ability. So, I was doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and that's stressful for a person, to be the only person that's really kind of moving things along. So, but I just had to, I had to make that sacrifice. Oh, okay. Yep. So, I had to do what I had to do, make the sacrifices to go find that new job. Like I said, it made it a longer process. But, it finally happened. I was finally able to get a better job, better pay, better team, better situation. And now everything is just, a lot more smoother. It was funny because the other day I had an issue pop up, and I was so used to not having anybody to ask, I almost forgot to ask somebody to help me. I was just like, dang, like it's nice now having people who, I go to them and they like, oh, I got to answer for you. Like, man, like that's refreshing.
That's definitely some pressure.
Yeah, that's what my work husband goes through. He is like our personal IT person and knows everything HR related. And if he's out, it's like this big detriment to the point where if he's on vacation or not here, people are still calling him to help with stuff. And he's up there at retirement age, not too far away. So he need to train somebody to do his job because when he goes, what y'all gonna do? Like, jobs need to be better at training people how to do jobs.
Yeah.
Right. And more than one person.
I hate working at jobs. I hated working at jobs to where something where y'all just depended on one person. Like, why y'all just dependent on one person to do that? Why does JoJo or whoever, Joe Schmo, the only person who know how to do that? So if Joe Schmo not here and that thing break down, don't nobody here know how to fix that. And sometimes
it be like that. That's the thing. It be like that. That's the crazy part.
That makes no sense to me. Yeah. Never made sense to me. Like, how can nobody else fix this?
We had an employee go out on a leave abruptly. The work was piling up on this person's desk. I just got to that unit, so I eventually was like, what the hell needs to be done because stuff is just getting piled. Like, I'm one of them people. If something needs to be done, tell me it needs to be done. Like, don't let stuff just pile up and nobody don't know how to do nothing. Show me how to do it. So if you're not here, I know how to do it.
Right.
Like, our supervisor ended up being out this whole week. Stuff had to get done. I asked him, how do you do this? How do you do that? I learned how to do 2 new things this week that I never did before and got them done because they needed to be done ASAP.
Right.
Like, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah, that's huge.
But when something is important, like if it's important and essential to the task of the day, you feel me? Everybody should know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If something wrong, everybody should know.
Right.
You feel me? It shouldn't be a select few. You feel me? I'm talking about something that's essential to the day-to-day operation. You feel me? If it go down, it should not just be one person. Oh, man, we got to wait till they come in. Or we got to call so-and-so. Like, what?
Yeah.
You feel me? It should be, yo, man, fix that real quick.
Right.
I mean, let me do this real quick. Can you go do that real quick? All right, gotcha. You feel me? Real simple. That's how it should be. That's the only conversation. How the conversation should go. Shouldn't be no panic.
But that happens a lot in our office.
Oh, he said that. Oh, that happens.
And I hate it. Like, one day that happened, it was like bad. Our AC asked a question and nobody knew the answer. Mm-hmm. Everybody kept saying, I don't know. She asked me, I said, I'm going to find out. By the time I came back to it, it was already done. Like I don't know people. If I don't know, I'm gonna find out so I can help you. I'm not gonna keep. I don't know if that is not good for me. I should know everything. If you ask me a question, I should be able to tell you the answer.
Poor management. That goes back to poor management.
Oh yeah, poor management. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That goes back to poor management. You feel me? Because that's their responsibility at the end of the day. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That's their responsibility to make sure the conditions and everything is and run in order and proper. You feel me? For everybody to know what's what. You feel me? Cross the T's, dot the I's.
Right.
If something go wrong, if the office is in a panic, that's a reflection of leadership.
Right.
Sonny mentioned earlier.
Yeah, that's
panicking because our leader is in a panic. Our leader don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, you can't be blind leading the blind. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that happen, and they run into you. So yeah, before we get out of here, I wanted to do a quick discussion on an after show topic. I don't know if y'all saw my one of my posts. I think it was in a story, and basically it was about people giving what they call it unconditional optimism versus just accepting that shit can go to shit and bad things can happen to people, right? And just accepting it. So what's y'all take on that? Like, do you get tired of hearing people say, "Oh, you got this," and don't worry, everything's gonna be all right, versus people just going, "Okay, yeah, I feel you. Yeah, everything is screwed up, or this is messed up, and we just got to deal with it." That kind of thing. Like, what's your take on that?
Sometimes everything it's not gonna be okay. Sometimes you gotta go through the fire to get to the end or the better outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Simply put, you know what I mean? Simply put, so I won't be long-winded. It is what it is, and you know what I mean? You deal with it how it comes. You feel me? Sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta let go and let God, and sometimes you have to take the bull by the horns and handle the situation. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just out of your hands. You feel me? Sometimes you get it, no matter, you know what I mean, how positive you think,
mm-hmm.
or how optimistic you want to be, it doesn't mean it's going to, you know what I mean, work out favorably for you. Sometimes,
right.
You know what I mean, that's life. That's life. My dad taught me a long time ago. You feel me? You know what I mean? Just don't you ever tell me something ain't fair. Life ain't fair. There's no such thing as fair.
Right.
You feel me? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, get that out. He beat that in, not literally beat it in me physically, but in my mind. Like, he made sure I understood that at a young age. Like, this shit ain't fair. You feel me? You could do everything right and have all the right intentions, and it could all go to shit.
Right.
Immediately.
Exactly.
You feel me? If it's not meant to be, it's just not meant to be. It is what it is. You feel me? But how you handle that, you can control how you come through that.
Right.
You feel me?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You can control that's the only thing you can control, how you come through that. Outside of that, you feel me? You know what I mean? You can't control anything else. You can't control anything else. It's like, you know what I mean? Reality, you feel me? This ain't no fairy tale. You feel me?
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I brought that up too because I kind of did the same thing your dad did. I did that with my daughter the other day. She was having a little meltdown about some stuff happening and things not going her way, and like I'm one of those people who like to be optimistic about everything. You know what I mean? But I like to be optimistic because I'm an optimistic kind of person. And I realized in thinking about, all the things that my my daughter, gets anxiety about and everything that she freaks out about, I realized that, maybe the optimistic approach just isn't working because, she'll be the first one to tell you too. You guys always say everything's going to be all right, but it's not. And so I sat her down the other day and I'm like, you know what? I was like, I feel you. I feel you said not everything is always going to be all right. Not everything is always going to work to your advantage, and everything is not always going to be as cut and dry as just do what you can do and it's going to be good. It's like you're going to take losses. You're going to have things that are going to come up and things are going to not work out and you're going to fail. So you're going to be put at a disadvantage, or you're going to not get what you want, or you're going to have to work harder for something in a different way and take a different route. I was like, but one way or another, what you have to keep in mind is that if you have either the skills that you need to be successful in life, or you are trying your best to do something and you put your all into it, and if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. If it's not going to hurt you, if it's not going to end what you're doing in life, then move on, learn from it and move on. I was like, a lot of times what we got to remember is that overall, if you do what's right in your life, you're not gonna completely fail, not without trying. You know what I mean? And you have to also try your best to look for help when you need help instead of feeling like you the only person in the room that can do everything. I was like, her biggest complaint is that if something is not going right, nobody's on her side about it. And it's like, but if you don't tell anybody that you need help, or if you don't tell anybody that you're having trouble, how are we supposed to know? So and she admitted, like, yeah, she doesn't do that, and she realized that she has had some success in things even when she feels like it didn't go her way. It's like, yeah, it doesn't have to be 100% your way for it to be success. It doesn't have to be the way you envisioned it for it to be the right way. Sometimes you have to do things a little differently, have a plan B, maybe even a plan C and D, but you gotta remember that overall, if you want something to succeed, you gotta work for it, and it's not going to be given to you, and I think that's what a lot of people miss is that, this world, like you said, Clint, it's not easy. It wasn't built to be easy, and not everybody's going to have it easy. There's 1% of people who are rich in this world, so are wealthy, actually that are wealthy. So you got to remember that more than likely you're a part of that 99. So you got to deal with it every day of having to work hard, having to deal with crisis, having to deal with issues, having to deal with losses, but you're going to be all right. And if you want to give up, then yeah, you're going to fail. Yeah, you're not going to have success, because if you just give up because something gets a little hard, you didn't deserve it anyway.
Exactly. Well said.
I guess we can wrap after that. I'll give out your info.
We already know. Y'all hit me up on my blog. I've been slacking a little lately, but I'm back to it. akingstruth.com. Hit me up on Twitter at @eTrentonGroomy and akingstruth609 on IG.
It's your boy Willie Styles. You can get at me at Willie Styles everywhere. STYLEZ. WillieStyles.info for all my links. I've actually been on Snapchat a little bit more. Willie.styles on Snapchat. So snap me up. Other than that, you can catch me on the rest of the socials whenever I venture out there. So hit me up.
And fuck y'all lives. My knee is okay.
Y'all, I don't know if y'all heard that. Sonny over there tripping over stuff. I'm like, bro, are you okay?
Nah, man, I was trying to get up, man. My body's tired.
About to say, Sonny over there getting old on us over there. Can't even get up off the chair without knocking the chair over.
I had to go on mute. I had to mute everything. I was over there crying.
Hey, right. screenshot these text messages at one point and post them. They be coming at me sideways during the chat, man. y'all don't look like I go to these two Negroes. But anyway, catch me on _D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Catch me on my blog, unreservedlyme.com. Even though I really post on there like that, I still post. Look at our Facebook page, gstradioshow.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at GST_radio. Cop some merch, teesprings.com /stores/GST radio. Clint.
See you on 7 days.
Bye, guys.
Holla.